Turns out when you look at moments of insight, and psychologists have been studying moments of insight for the last few years, there are two defining features. The first defining feature is that the answer comes out of the blue. It arrives when you least expect it. Second defining feature is that as soon as the answer arrives, you know it's the right answer. Now, at first glance, it's not quite clear how one might study such moments. You can't just put undergrads in a brain scanner and say, okay, have an epiphany, we're ready for you. That would be a very inefficient way to collect data. So instead, what scientists had to do, and I'm speaking primarily here about the research of Mark Beeman and John Kunios, they had to find a way to generate lots of moments of insight on the fly. And the set of problems that Beeman and Kunios came up with, a set of problems called compound remote associate problems, they go like this. I'm going to give you 3 words. We'll do the first one together. I'll give you 3 words, and you find the 4th word that can form a compound word with those 3. So the 3 words are age, mile, and sand. Age, mile, and sand. What's the 4th word that can form a compound word with age, mile, and sand? I think I heard it. Stone. Yes. Someone just had an insight somewhere right about there. Now, because it was answered that quickly, it almost certainly just popped into her head. The answer is stone, by the way. Stone Age, milestone, sandstone. So the first thing Beeman and Kunios discovered when they gave people these compound remote associate problems inside this brain scanner was that a part of the brain called the anterior superior temporal gyrus, a bit of cortex in the back of your right hemisphere, just behind the ear, lit up, showed a sharp spike in activity in the seconds just before people had the epiphany. Now, this is a brain area nobody knows too much about. It's been previously associated with things like the processing of jokes, it lights up when you hear a punchline, and also the interpretation of metaphors. Now, a similar mental process is at work when we're trying to make sense of pine, crab, and sauce, a compound remote associate problem. Those aren't 3 words that go together very frequently. We don't use them together in a sentence. And yet this one brain area is able to find that one other remote association, which in this case is apple, which binds those words together. Now, when you need a big new idea, when you're working on a problem that seems impossible, that's why this brain area seems to be so important, because it is very, very good at finding that thin, fragile thread, that remote association, that far-fetched connection that allows us to link together ideas that, at least on the surface, seem to have nothing in common. That's the first thing Beeman and Kunios discovered. Second, they discovered, and this was in conjunction with researchers at University College of London, is a bit more interesting. This they discovered when they hooked people up to an EEG machine. It's like wearing a big, bulky shower cap, and it measures the waves of electricity flowing out of your head. And what they discovered is they could predict up to 8 seconds in advance whether or not someone was going to have an epiphany, going to have one of these moments of insight. Now, just think for a second how spooky this is. They could look at your EEG waves and they could say, sorry, buddy, you are wasting your time. You should just go home. You can struggle all day and you'll get nowhere. Just save us all a lot of frustration and go home. Or they could say, you know what, in about 7.5 seconds, you might have a breakthrough. Chances are looking pretty good right now, so brace yourself. The crucial question, of course, is what this predictive signal is. Turns out to be something called alpha waves. Like most things in the mind, alpha waves remain pretty mysterious, but they are closely associated with states of relaxation. Now, the reason these states of relaxation are so important for the generation of moments of insight is that when we're not relaxed, when we're really attentive and vigilant, the mind is out here. We're paying attention to the outside world, and we're probably fixated on the problem itself. So we're thinking about pine, crab, and sauce, pine, crab, and sauce. And chances are there's probably a wrong answer. A common wrong answer of pine, crab, and sauce is tree. A wrong answer that we just can't get out of our heads. It's like a block. So that's why the problem remains impossible. It's not until we're relaxed, until we're shampooing our hair in the nice warm shower, that we finally turn the spotlight of attention inwards. And that's when at long last we hear that quiet voice coming from the back of our head saying, the answer is apple. The answer is apple. Maybe the answer's been there for hours or days or weeks. We just haven't taken a moment to listen. Now, there is something counterintuitive about this research. I think most people assume that when faced with a really difficult problem, that the thing to do is to double down and chug a triple espresso, drink some Red Bull, do whatever it is you need to do to stay focused, to chain yourself to your desk, because that's how you'll solve the problem. But that turns out to be the exact wrong approach. You'll be very, very focused, but you'll be focused on the wrong answer. So the next time you hit the wall, the next time you have no idea what to do, the problem seems impossible, go take a break. Stop working. The answer will only arrive after you stop looking for it.